Can you tell me any other part that takes more abuse than a BCG inside an AR-15? They are in many ways the heart of your AR. So there's a lot of bolt carrier groups out there ranging from under $100 all the way up to $500. And it can be hard to know which bolt carrier group you should pick out for your next build. Add in the fact that there are a lot of acronyms like C158, MPI, 9310, DLC, TIN. Shopping for a bolt carrier group can be a tad bit overwhelming. So I'm CJ with AT3 Tactical, and I wanted to help answer these overwhelming questions. So for this video, we're going to hit the 3 elements that make BCGs more budget friendly or ultra expensive. So with that in mind, let's go through some common materials that are used in most BCGs. Before we talk about specific materials, it's important to remember that some BCGs mix and match materials for certain components, such as the bolt and the carrier, for example. This is because the bolt is going to take more of the pressure, so the bolt has to be as strong as possible, whereas the carrier doesn't have to be as strong, so some manufacturers make these in different materials to save on costs. So the first material we're going to break down is Carpenter 158, and this is the mil spec standard, known for its durability and reliability because it was developed specifically for the US military by a company called Carpenter Technologies, hence the name. Now, there's a lot of material science going on here, so I want to try to keep this as simple as possible and say that C158 is a case-hardened steel that provides a hard exterior to resist wear and cracking while maintaining a soft and more flexible surface. And typically, it has a chemical phosphate coating on it to enhance resistance to wear and corrosion, but we'll talk more about coatings later on in the video. What's great about C158 is that it's common, it's easy to work with, and it's durable, so it's going to be one of the most affordable options out there in terms of materials for BCGs. It also comes in with a super strong rating of 1,690 MPa. Now, what does that even mean? Well, let's break it down really quickly. Tensile strength, or how strong a material is when it's being pulled apart, is often measured in something called megapascals. 1 megapascal, or MPa, is roughly equal to 145 pounds per square inch, or PSI. So when we talk about tensile strength, we're looking into how much force a material can handle before it breaks. For example, mild steel can handle about 36,000 pounds per square inch, while stronger materials like hardened alloys can handle over 45,000 PSI. Next, we're going to look at 9310 steel, and it has an MPa of about 930 to 1200, and it's known for its high core strength and fatigue resistance. Now, 9310 steel is also the best choice for applications like gears, crankshafts, and aerospace components like airplanes and my favorite space shuttles back in the day. Now, because of the advantages of this material, it's often marked as enhanced, so it's going to be great for high performance builds due to its upgraded microstructure, making it common in high quality but non-mil spec BCGs. Next, we have 8620 steel, and it has an MPa of 620 to 880, which is about 90,000 to 128,000 PSI. Now, this is usually used for just the bolt carrier and not the bolt itself. If it is used for the bolt itself, I would recommend avoiding this BCG because it might not be strong enough to handle the rigors of continuous use over long periods of time. Really, in the end, no matter what material you go with, the locking lugs tend to be the thing that breaks first. So high-grade materials will resist wear better. So don't skimp on reliable stuff here, especially for components like the bolt itself. The next thing that's going to impact the cost of the BCGs is the coating that is used. And to understand that, we have to get a little sciencey again for just a minute. So let's talk about something called friction coefficient. The coefficient of friction, or the COF, is a simple way to measure how slippery or grippy two surfaces are when they touch. It's just a number that shows how much resistance there is when two surfaces slide together. For example, think about ice on ice. It has a very low coefficient of friction of around 0.1, meaning it's super slippery. Think about how easily a hockey puck slides on ice. On the other hand, rubber tires on dry pavement have a much higher COF of around 0.8 to 1.0, which is why your car can stop so quickly when you slam on the brakes after you almost missed that stop sign. So the first coating that we're going to talk about is phosphate, and that has a COF range of about 0.3 to 0.4. Now, phosphate, also known as parkerizing coatings, provides a moderate friction resistance, which helps to reduce wear corrosion while offering a distinct level of lubrication retention, but they aren't always as slick as some of the other coatings, which we'll talk about in a minute. While there's plenty of other coatings out there, this is still the current mil spec for most bolt carrier groups out there. Phosphate coating finish should still have a chrome lining on the inside of the gas key and inside the carrier where the gas rings ride to make sure that the rotation of the bolt is still smooth. Even though these are old and still the mil spec standard, some people like the rough phosphate finish for its tendency to hold oil or lube better than other finishes that we'll talk about. The roughness of the phosphate finish will eventually wear down to become a much smoother finish on high wear parts and areas like the carrier rails right underneath here. And what's really good about phosphate is it's the most economical of all the finishes, so if you're looking for the cheapest, most available coating for an occasional range use gun, I would say go with this one. And if you want one that's a little nicer and easier to clean, then we can move on to a nitride finish. Next we have nitride, and this has a COF range of about 0.2 to 0.3, making it a slight bit more slick than something like phosphate. Nitride coatings offer a lower friction coefficient, making the surface smoother and reducing wear, while also increasing hardness and corrosion resistance. People really like this coating because it's modern, smooth, and resistant to wear and corrosion. It's easier to clean, and since the coating is much smoother, it doesn't require a chrome lining on the inside of the carrier or the gas key, since it's already smooth enough inside. Now, it's going to cost more than your standard phosphate coating due to this extra process, but most shooters, including me, think it's worth it for the ease of cleaning and the better feel that the BCG has when it's gliding through the receiver. Honestly though, these are really subtle differences if you don't shoot often, so if that's not you, you can probably just stay with the normal phosphate coating, but if you want something that really glides extra smooth, you could get a nickel boron coated BCG. Nickel boron has a coefficient of friction of about 0.1 to 0.2. Now, nickel boron coatings are buttery smooth, offering one of the lowest coefficients of friction among any of the coatings. This results in reduced friction and less heat buildup, which can help with the longevity of your gun since your parts won't be expanding and retracting due to overheating. Again, it's ultra sleek and it's easy to clean, similar to nitride, but it's popular in the mid to high-end builds, mostly for that extra sleekness and for the looks. One thing I do have to mention here is that it's possible, albeit really rare, for the coating to delaminate over time. For this to happen, the BCG must have been dropped or something would have had to go horribly wrong during the coating process for the coating to delaminate. It is super rare, but it is something that does happen occasionally, so I thought it's important for you guys to know about it. Next up is DLC, and no, I'm not talking about downloadable content. This has a coefficient of friction of about 0.05 to 0.1, which is super slick. DLC coatings have an extremely low coefficient of friction, offering the slickest surface of any of the coatings listed here. Known for its hardness and wear resistance, DLC reduces the friction dramatically, making it ideal for high-performance BCGs. But it's gonna come at a cost. Huge bonus of this coating, especially for me, the person who loves the looks and colors in all of my builds, is that it's available in a variety of colors, including black, gray, FDE, and even some crazy colors like this chameleon one from Faxon. Get your wallet ready because these are, of course, going to be the most expensive ones that we're talking about today. I do have to include titanium nitride, which has a coefficient of friction range from 0.2 to 0.6. Titanium nitride is known for its gold color appearance, but it does improve the lubricity and corrosion resistance, especially compared to phosphate, but to be honest, many shooters love these for the gold color appearance. But they do also come at a higher cost, which may not be justified for the average shooter. Again, just like with material choices, there are other coatings out there that have special characteristics, but those coatings are going to be more specialized and usually hit your wallet even more than those other options. So if you come across a coating different than this, do some research on those unique properties of that coating and why the manufacturers are using it. One of the last things we want to look at is the special features that some BCGs come with. And the first one I want to look at is M4 or M16 rated BCGs versus semi-auto rated BCGs. The M4 or M16 BCGs have more material in the back of the BCG, making them heavier, reducing wear and slowing the action down better for reliability for faster rates of fire, like what the old M4s and M16s do. You can get M4 or M16 rated BCGs even if your gun is an AR-15, and for that matter, most modern day bolts are going to be rated as M4 or M16 bolts just to say that they are designed for higher rates of fire. The next set of features we want to look at are enhanced designs. I'm talking about features that don't come with stock BCGs that manufacturers throw in to spice things up a little bit. For example, Sharp's XPB have angled lugs for smoother cycling and reduced lug stress, hopefully preventing them from breaking over time. Landtac also has specialized cam pins to reduce wear and friction, especially in over-gassed systems. There are also super lightweight BCGs that are milled down to reduce excess material and therefore reduce the weight of, for example, a competition gun, but you'll also want to invest in an adjustable gas block and buffer to tune the whole system in just the right way to get that felt recoil impulse as low as possible. And when you're looking for a BCG and you see something that says MPI or HPT tested, that is talking about the testing protocols that a BCG has gone through. So let's look at those just real fast. So first of all, MPI stands for magnetic particle inspection, and this is a process to help detect cracks and malformations forming in the BCG itself before it's shipped out. So when something says that it's certified MPI tested, you know that there are no cracks right out of the box. That doesn't mean that this is foolproof or that cracks won't form later on, but you know that it's inspected to make sure it's as high as quality as possible. The next testing protocol is HPT, or high pressure testing, and this ensures that the BCG can handle extreme chamber pressures. How this works is the BCG is used to fire a higher pressure cartridge that's well over the specification of the BCG to make sure it works. The high pressure testing ensures that the bolt can handle a high chamber pressure and keep firing without any risk of failure. Now, the next thing we want to look at is a properly staked gas key. A lot of gas keys are going to look like this right out of the box, but there are some bad ones that don't have a properly staked gas key that look kind of like this. What a properly staked gas key prevents is the screws from backing out, which could mean that the gas key can become loose and lead to leakage from the underside of the gas key over time. So what you want to do here is when you take it out of the box, look carefully at those screws and make sure that there's proper interference with the screws from the gas key being staked. That way, those screws aren't going to back out on you at all. Now that we've covered all the materials, coatings, features, and testing protocols that BCGs can come with, think again about the purpose of your build and think about what you need out of it. Again, I'll ask you, are you building a budget range plinker or a rifle that you trust your life to? This will help you guide your decision to the right BCG a lot easier. Now, I hope I've been able to help you understand the costs of BCGs, but if you still want to know more about the fundamentals of BCGs, how they work, and their unique parts, go check out the